enemy. You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he goes me. And he gets caught real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score. Never getting bored, tons of blood and gold. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel it for the party. And if you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you let scars rip. You be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better get
everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of The Voice of Reason. As you can see, that is not Mike. Mike has a life and he has a family event that he wanted to attend, so he went ahead and took care. I don't have a life, so I'm here doing the show. But Tennessee Brando was lovely enough to go ahead and jump in and help me out, or help us out, and guest host the show. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
It's going good, man. I hope you're doing well. Hope Mike's doing well. It's been a while since I talked with you, but I'm looking forward to it.
Right? Yeah, we had a lot of fun in New York, man. The protest was really cool. And like I was talking to you about before the show, like I loved the environment and the energy, and it was so much fun. But I will admit I'm very disappointed with the turnout of the last two protests, the only two protests that I've been to. I just feel like well, I was just saying, while I'm at work, I feel like what's the point? Like,
I
what's
can
the
understand
point of
that.
all of this? You know what I mean? I'm delivering packages for
Yeah.
Amazon, of all people. Like, part of the reason we're in this problem here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even know why I'm doing it anymore, because things are really going bad.
I totally understand, man. I can relate. I've went to more protests since Trump got reelected than I've been at since he was president before. I got to thinking about it. I was like, I went to protest back when he was in office, and then I didn't during the Biden administration, and now we're back. But I was excited when I was out in California for the Not My President's protest they had out there. There was a really good turnout there, and I was surprised that one I went to in Nashville, Tennessee, that had a good turnout. I'm going back to one on March 4th. They're having another one this March. It's Tuesday. Nice. So let's just hope that the turnouts improve and build up, and maybe as more stuff starts to happen to people and they start to feel it. I hate to say it, but I've always said they kind of have to feel it, and maybe the more people feel it, they'll start to come around. I hope
it's
so.
human nature, I think, for people not to really give a shit until it really truly affects them personally. I mean, because there's a lot of things in the world to care about. You know what I mean? There really is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just getting by as it is. And I think a lot of people think that even though Trump's in office, they don't pay attention to the stuff that we pay attention to. Like, they're like, my life is already shitty. My life is just going to continue to be shitty, as it always has been, not realizing that it's about to get exponentially worse.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, you made a good point there. People like us, we consume political content on a daily basis, and we talk to people who do it on a day. It's our conversation every day from all the time. And there's a whole lot of people out there who just are going to work every day, and they're struggling, and they don't, they may not understand how it all works or how it's not supposed to work. And so, I think a lot of them tunes in right around election time and sees who's there. And maybe this presidency, if anything, will just get people to be more involved and get people to start seeing what's actually going on. I hope so.
Another thing I would like to point, again, I think we've said this quite a bit now, is we need to get a hold of the people that did not vote. That don't know what's going on, because they're going to have no clue what's happening. And this is about to slap them in the face. Metaphorically and probably physically too, but this is about to get bad and people are not going to understand. And the last thing we want is them to get sucked into Russian propaganda media, aka Fox News, Newsmax, all that shit. We have to be there for them, so we cannot blame the people that did not vote for what happened. If you want to blame people, blame your neighbor with the Trump yard or sign in his yard. That's who you blame.
Yeah.
And like I said before, we remember you just because you took your sign down. We remember you had it up. So,
well, it's funny, man. In my part of the world, one thing I seen was that there was a lot of people, and I talked about it in the months leading up to the election. I said, I'm not seeing as much Trump merch as I've seen before, and I thought that was a good sign. What's funny in this part of the world, when he won, it's like they put it out, almost like they were celebrating. I guess they had it stored away in the closet, and then so they could back up and say, I was never a Trump guy. But there's a lot of them came back out with it once it was over.
It's funny you say that, because I take notice. There's one road I drive down all the time in my area, and this guy has had a Trump flag hanging outside of his house for 9 years. every day, if one got tattered, he'd hang up a new one. This guy went as far as to buy a Trump store or open up a Trump store. And I live in a city of like 35,000 people. You know what I mean? It's a very heavy Trump area, but he opened up a Trump store, and he also bought like a fake NASCAR shell that was wrapped in a Trump, like Trump driving. And he no longer has a Trump flag up, and his store's closed, and the car's gone. Like, so that to me tells me that people are bailing, even some of his most devoted followers. And I think the whole Nazi thing kind of maybe turns some people off.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, maybe Nazis are bad. Most Americans know that. But too many apparently don't. But so what we're going to get into today, we're not going to talk about the shit. Well, I want to touch base with it because I want to get your opinion on what you thought of the whole Zelensky Trump meeting, which was so embarrassing. But Mike and I on Tuesday are really going to tear that whole meeting down, and we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into Trump's, a.k.a. Agent Krasanov's, allegedly, for legal reasons, Russian history, because it's out there in the open, and people are just, I don't know if they just don't want to acknowledge it, or, I hate the right for doing this, but we now sound like the conspiracy theorists. They've honestly turned it, but we're talking factual things too,
Yeah.
But I hate the fact that we now sound like, when we're trying to tell our friends, like, hey, this is Russia's behind everything. They're like, yeah, you sound nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm serious, please. So, the tides have turned. So today we're going to talk about all the things leading up to that, starting with the whole Gaza video, which I can't decide if that was like Trump. I feel like that video somehow was made to troll Trump. And Trump thought it was a way to suck, because like the bearded ladies, and it had like all his different, like the casino was looked just like his Taj Mahal casino. So I don't know what that was.
I don't either. I sometimes wonder if that was someone I thought the same thing when I seen it, because you got like the belly dancers, and then the fact that he was depicted the way he was depicted. I'm surprised that his head wasn't on Rambo's body or something, but he's just sitting there.
Actually, Mike was nice enough to make a couple overlays of it. And I believe you're talking about this right here. Trump looking like he eats a lot of Big Macs next to big old fat Netanyahu. But you're right, because Trump. Yeah. Every time he showed, even his NFTs, he's like a astronaut or a cowboy or something. So I don't know. It's hard to say. But the fact that he thought it wasn't a troll and thought it was like this cool video made by AI, it's disgusting. And then I find out Marco Rubio just said, we'll talk about it here in a second, just expedited another $4-6 billion to Israel. Say goodbye to Palestinians. Jesus Christ. We're also going to talk about Elon Musk now holding cabinet meetings, which is insane. And this is after already his son was in the Oval Office wiping boogers on the Resolute desk. And I would have, all right, we'll get it. I keep getting ahead of myself here. We're also going to talk about something that truly disturbed me. And I think almost this disturbed me as much as the Jeffrey Epstein thing about Trump. And that was him helping get Andrew Tate, who was arrested in Romania for not only rape, sex trafficking, and a whole list of other charges, running an illegal crime ring, like all these other things. And he helped Andrew Tate Andrew Tate is now free in the United States, running around. And he is one of the most disgusting people I think I've heard of or learned about since Jeffrey Epstein. To me, he is. Yeah. It's like Jeffrey Epstein 2.0. So we'll get into all that. But let's first go over, let me play the whole Gaza video. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. The one thing I want you to keep an eye out for that we thought was weird. One, Elon Musk on the beach throwing money. And then the bearded ladies. There's clearly bearded ladies. There is no question about it. So I'm not sure what to make of this video, but let's play it real quick and talk about it.
Donald's coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, gold golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one. Trump Gaza, shining bright. Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, number one.
It's so disturbing. This is so dystopian. I can't believe
it truly is. and I would love it, honestly. I have to say, I would love it if it did come out later that someone was just trolling Trump and he fell for it. But the idea that the president of the United States would see something like that, find it entertaining, and then repost it. I mean, and I've seen him say things before in the past, like, "Well, it was just a repost. I just reposted something that I found interesting." Right. I don't repost. I mean, if I repost something, it's because I feel like it has value and I want to boost it and I want to see it go farther. That's why I repost things. I don't just randomly, repost something and go, "Oh, I found this interesting. It's this terrible thing." But it's the only way I repost things is when I want to boost it and get it to go further. I want more people to see it, and that's the kind of stuff he's okay with the American people seeing. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And to me, it just the fact that he is, that's his vision for, like, if that's what he thinks of Gaza, like you're talking about genocide. And I believe Donald Trump, didn't he just sanction? I thought I just read, if you guys haven't checked out, do you use Ground News at all? It's a really good app. If you guys need news updates, and it'll actually break it down. It'll give you like a little synopsis of all the different articles that it pulls from. But apparently Donald Trump and putting sanctions on the International Criminal Court or something like that. Elon Musk is talking about pulling us out of not only NATO, but also the United Nations, which to me is just absolutely insane. And I don't even want to say what could possibly come in the future. I mean, with concentration camps, genocide, mass murder, is that what we're looking at right now? This is why I don't think people understand why you should be upset. This is why you should be upset. Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, what more could you possibly need to be outraged?
Yeah, I saw someone in the comments said so much for not worshiping false idols. I mean, that's everything. Everything about that video is everything we were all raised to believe against, and I can't believe that, especially I think back on the ministers that raised me and taught me how to be respectful when it comes to that part of the world. And then just to post something that disrespectful and goes against everything that we were ever taught. It just, again, if someone was trolling him, I'd love for him to come forward and say so. But either way, regardless, he thought it was entertaining and shared it, and that's disturbing enough.
Right. He's not only posting videos of that; he's also continuing his grift nonstop. I think I watched a video of Ben Meiselas from Midas Touch Network because he subscribes to his email list, and it's like nonstop. The shit they send out is insane.
It is.
I don't know who reads those emails and goes, "Let me get my debit card." Oh my God, I have to donate right away. When are they going to see? Like, here, let me show you this. Have you seen the video of him selling hats out of the Oval Office at the Resolute desk?
I'm not sure. Let's see it.
Let's watch it.
Look, see that? Trump was right about everything. It just came in. Somebody sent it. I said, but this was sent in by a fan. I said, I think we should make some of them, right? But we were, pretty much. You want one?
I'll pass.
Are you allowed to take one? Because
not.
he'll consider it. I know him well. He's sort of a stiff. Yeah, Brian, you're not a stiff. He's sort of a stiff guy. He'll take other things, but not a free hat.
Always say yes
look
to
at the
background.
background.
Always say yes to the
Does
president.
anybody like one?
An easy question.
If you look at the background, it has the big Gulf of America on there.
Yeah.
Which, if those of you don't know, that's why the AP was banned from attending these types of things.
And I think that's the first time that I've ever heard a president refer to someone as a fan. This was done in by a fan. It's all about it's all about celebrity to him. It's all it's ever been. And like you said, the grift has not stopped. From the minute he came down the escalator, he's still grifting. Grifted the entire time he was there the first time, grifted all through Biden's presidency, and now he's still doing it. And there's people out there then, man, that will sit and tell me and you, oh, he's doing this because he loves the country. He don't need the money. He could be off on a yacht somewhere, Right. I see him, and I'm like, you got to be crazy to think that. The guy's constantly grifting.
They honestly think, like, MAGA loves Elon, like core MAGA. They think he is the smartest person in the world. And I think this is the major problem, is also Donald Trump. thinks that Elon Musk he's convinced that Elon is the smartest person on earth. I think Brett Baer during an interview even said, Elon, you're the smartest person. He's an idiot. He's he's not an inventor. He's an entrepreneur. Like
He
if
is.
I started out with a bunch of money at the beginning of my career, I'm sure I could be super rich too. It's not that hard.
I'll tell you what, I've not made it through the whole episode yet, dude. I may regret doing it for my own sanity, but I've been watching the recent episode that he did with Joe Rogan. And dude, oh man, I'm going to do a video on it later and I'll talk about it once I get through it. But the whole time I'm just sitting there going, this is the dude. This is the smartest guy in the room. This is who they let go in there with the blowtorch and everything and a chainsaw.
Right.
He's sitting there literally talking about, AI, and he's making AI say vulgar stuff and they're laughing about it. I mean, like two teenage kids just sitting there. I'm like, this is the real world. And I remember I was on your show back during the election. I was on here and you guys was telling me about Idiocracy. And I was telling you how I said, well, I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen the whole thing. And when you go back and watch it now, man, it's like a documentary.
Especially when he comes out with the chainsaw. He looks just like President Camacho. Like, oh my God, it's happening. Some fun information I found out this week about Elon Musk, and this is just for fun. But I heard a rumor that maybe, allegedly, possibly Elon Musk may at some point had a penis enhancement surgery. I don't know why this. I'm serious. The weird shit pops up on my TikTok feed. Okay, so of course I thought it would be funny to ask ChatGPT of all things if this is true. So this is what I did. Did Elon Musk allegedly have botched penile implant surgery? And I was like, holy shit. Yes.
Wow.
Apparently, it was written in a book by Walter Isaacson that he may have undergone. Again, this is just.
Well,
fun.
I guess if you got that kind of money, I don't know.
I know. And apparently, he just there's a 14th child now. Apparently.
Well, I thought just the other day I heard there was 13. Did he have?
Yes.
Did he have two back to back?
30 minutes ago, he had a 13th child with somebody that's apparently been just pursuing him for years, talking about, I want to have his rocket baby. Not kidding. I think he may have gotten honeypotted. If you guys don't know what that is, just look it up. It's something that Israelis used to do. But yeah, all right. So I'm getting off track. All right. So some serious stuff though. What Elon is doing is considered, Mike was nice enough to make this for me, is called economic espionage. So on the right here, economic espionage is a foreign power sponsored or coordinated intelligence activity directed at the U.S. government or U.S. corporations, establishments, persons designed to unlawfully or clandestinely influence sensitive economic policy decisions or to unlawfully obtain sensitive financial, trade, or economic policy information, proprietary economic information, or critical technologies. So yeah, that to me and that's right off of FBI.gov. I'm not an expert in these things, and I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anything about the law, but I would say that that's exactly what him and his merry boy band of incels is doing. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer either. It's just it's so crazy to me to watch Trump turn it over to him and him turn it over to a bunch of kids, and then them sit back and just, he'll come out on Twitter, he'll make a post, he'll just share a screenshot of something with a circle around it, and he'll say "wow," and that's all. That's all he puts. And when he was asking the Oval Office about would he be transparent, he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "I'm very transparent and I'm very open with the American people. I posted on X." And I'm like, oh, so you posted on the platform where you control the narrative, right? And you control the information. So
apparently he's also trying to change community notes because he gets community noted all the time by his own platform. He's one of the biggest spreaders of misinformation. And this all comes from Russia. I know you sound crazy, but I would think after recent events, it's pretty obvious who's calling the shots here, and it's not anyone on this continent. He's over, Vladimir Putin is calling the shots. If you think I'm crazy, let me show you this recent news release that I found about Pete Hegseth. Trump's defense secretary orders Cyber Command to stand down on all Russian operations, and this is huge, The cybersecurity outlet, The Record, originally reported that under Trump's new defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Cyber Command has been ordered to stand down from all planning against Russia, including offensive digital actions. The outlet cites 3 anonymous sources who are familiar with the matter. The order reportedly does not apply to the National Security Agency, thank God. So there could literally be, Russia could be planning an attack on us, and we would literally never know. What I don't. What else could it possibly be, guys? It's Russia. It's always been Russia. They wanted to do this since their days at the KGB.
I just keep going back to the Nikita Khrushchev quote. We'll take them and not fire a shot. That quote goes through my head a lot these days.
Thank you. I've been saying that. Thank you. That's who said it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it was Nikita Khrushchev.
Oh my God. Me and Mike say that shit all the time. Like, that's been their dream since their days of the Soviet Union. And people forget. Like, people think, oh, Putin, just this little guy. Dude, he is former KGB intelligence.
Oh yeah.
Dude is an op. He is the op. You know what I mean? As the kids would say, I guess. So yeah, these are dire situations, and our government we are the bad guys. How the fuck did that happen? The Americans are no longer the heroes. From now on in the movies, America will be the bad guys. We have joined the axis of freaking evil. Wow.
It's really sad.
It really is. So, all right, let's get into the cabinet meeting that Elon Musk was running, where Donald Trump apparently was either napping, tweeting, or shitting his pants, or all three, while President Musk was running the show. Now, I want to point out the blatant hypocrisy, and this has to do with the Zelensky meeting, because they were just, why aren't you wearing a suit? Like Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, the guy from Newsmax, I forget his name off the top of my head.
Ryan something.
Yeah, why aren't you wearing a suit? Don't you own a suit? Dude, you know how much money? Zelensky's damn near dirt poor. He has donated like all his money and shit to the people of Ukraine. Like, this guy truly cares about his people. The last thing he gives a shit about is wearing a nice suit.
Yeah.
But you got Elon fucking Musk wearing a dipshit MAGA trucker hat, goddamn tech support t-shirt, and a big old giant Texas belt buckle.
Yeah.
And you guys want to bitch and moan? And he's doing a cabinet meeting. He's running the cabinet meeting in a tech support shirt. And I have a video I'm going to show of this whole event. But yeah, this to me just showed Donald Trump doesn't give a shit. He just wants to play golf.
No.
Well, everybody else behind the scenes, this is what we've been talking about. Heritage Foundation, now Elon Musk, they're the ones running the show. They're the ones calling all the shots, with Russia pulling all the strings, apparently. So I don't even want to imagine what's going to happen. But yeah, let me play one of these videos. This is Elon Musk joking about his t-shirt that he's wearing. He thinks it's funny. Again, first he had his kid with him, his human shield with him, because you never saw that kid before the Luigi Mangione incident, ever. You never saw Elon with any of his kids. Wiping boogers on that desk to now wearing a tech support shirt. This guy's the richest man in the world, and this is how serious he takes this stuff.
That's the way it works. So I'd like to have Elon Musk please say a few words.
Well, thank you, Elon. Thank you, Mr. President. I actually just call myself a humble tech support here because this is actually, as crazy as it sounds, that is almost a literal description of the work that the Doge team is doing, is helping fix the government computer systems. Many of these systems are extremely old. They don't communicate. There are a lot of mistakes in the systems. The software doesn't work. So we are actually tech support. It's ironic, but it's true. And taking a lot of flack and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I like to stack them up, you know.
No shit.
But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done. I'm confident at this point, knock on wood, knock on my wooden head, there's got a lot of wood up there, that we can actually find $1 trillion in savings.
Man, I don't even know where to begin on that one. I've never seen a dude go out of his way to try to sound intelligent and say absolutely nothing.
Right. It's like,
but he does it all the time.
I was just thinking, like, how are these people sitting in this room looking at him
I'm watching,
going, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm watching the guys in the audience sitting there looking at him, and I wonder what's truly going through their mind. Because I don't think necessarily everyone in that room. And don't get me wrong, there's a whole bunch of idiots in that room, but not everyone is a complete and total buffoon. They're just grifters and going along with this stuff, and so they have to be sitting there looking at this dude. And I mean, I don't know what he said. I couldn't tell you.
I know it doesn't make any. It's knock on wood. Like he's. Oh, did you hear he's going to be on the? Apparently, he's going on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Oh wow. Okay.
Not a good idea on Elon Musk's part. On the condition that it's not edited to make him look bad.
Oh well.
I don't think, buddy. I don't think we're going to need to edit anything to make you look bad. I think you do that all by yourself.
Exactly.
But no, this shit just is getting more and more ridiculous. Like this part here, Mike was nice to pull up. In an unbelievable moment during Trump's cabinet meeting, he appears stunned as he mentions egg prices and how high they are now, forgetting his own discarded vow to voters to lower prices immediately. And I like to remind people, too, that he also apparently, or unless he was joking, who knows with this guy anymore, forgot he called Zelensky a dictator. He's like, did I call him that?
Yeah.
Oh. So it gets
worse and worse. You know, I'm not trying to get ahead here, but he did say that he would end the war in Ukraine as president-elect. He said that, and that didn't happen. Also said you'd see prices dropping on day one, inflation will go down day one, and then turned around in a recent interview and said, well, inflation is back, and I had nothing to do with it. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're saying inflation is back, so by saying it's back, that means it was gone.
Right.
He doesn't realize he's not even keeping tabs on what he says, man, because he's got his followers trained to jump through the hoops of those mental gymnastics, and people like me and you don't have the ability to do that because we're going to call bullshit. We're going to, you know.
I know, man. This gives me such a headache, though. So, real quick, while we're halfway through the show, if you made it this far and you're watching, please like and subscribe to this video. Share it with your friends. It helps us out with the algorithm. Also, Mike and I, thanks to your donations, Mike and I were able to do a lot of stuff with that last protest. We are still trying to raise money to kind of like make this thing official. We don't do ad revenue anymore on YouTube. We're not monetized on any of the platforms. So if you know anybody or if you'd like to donate at all to help us out, to get better equipment and to just try and get our message out there, the GoFundMe link for our channel is in the description of this video. So, and also I want to take this moment to thank Tennessee Brando for being down with us since before we even started, because I met you before we started this show.
You did, yeah.
I met you on the show that I was on before that shall not be named.
Yeah.
But no, you've been a supporter of ours. You guys have believed in us, not just you, but like Coach D, Fred Wellman. Like we've met so many amazing people throughout this process, and you guys have just believed in us.
Well, I really appreciate you, man. And like I said, I really appreciate having me on today. Thanks for having me. It's always fun being here.
Absolutely. So, all right, back to the topics. First, we're gonna go over why Elon Musk is not a genius, real quick. Let me play this video, and then. And then we're going to talk about RFK for a quick second, because there is something important going on that RFK is not handling well that I think we need to address. But here is the genius, the smartest man and the richest man in the world, explaining how they're not perfect and they're just going to make mistakes like cutting Ebola prevention. Oopsie. Okay, let me play the video while I'm laughing.
And we bring the receipts. So people say, like, well, is this real? Just go to doge.gov. We line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect. But when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly. So, for example, with USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately, and there was no interruption. But we do need to move quickly if we're to achieve a $1 trillion deficit reduction in financial year 2026. It requires saving $4 billion per day, every day, from now through the end of September.
Okay, that's enough of that. Accidentally canceled Ebola prevention. Yeah. He also fired people accidentally, of course, because he's not perfect. I mean, He's just human. He might be the smartest man on the planet, according to some people, MAGA, but he makes mistakes, like firing the people that worked on the nukes, and fired the people that were working on bird flu, which is running rampant across the country right now. So yes, this is stupid to think that Elon Musk is a genius. I think he's showing that he's completely incompetent and has no fucking clue what he's doing. Yeah. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. So
no, man, he's a lost ball in high weeds for sure, and it's just one of those things where I never understood the appeal that Donald Trump had. I really didn't, other than he empowered people to be racist, empowered people to be assholes. Mm-hmm. Elon is another one who I scratch my head at. Like I said, he's a guy that will go out of his way to use big words and try to sound intelligent, but they want to talk about like stuttering Joe. You know, they want to say Joe stutters. I have a hard time following Elon because he never really gets to the point. There's just a lot of like rambling and talking and hesitating and pausing and never says actually anything, but people sits back and hangs on every word of that. Meanwhile, you know, people can try to, like, you guys are the voice of reason. People try to use their voice of reason and be that person. And then it's kind of like the old saying of like, if you argue with an idiot, they'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. Yeah. That's kind of what it feels like a lot of times.
That's why I titled this episode, Morons Are Governing America. MAGA. That should be a hashtag. Morons are governing. That should be what MAGA stands for, because they're not making America great. If every decision Donald Trump is doing is making Russia great, he is not doing anything for the American people. He's banned paper straws. And then fucking, like, what was the last one? Oh, English is the official language of the United States now. All our problems are solved. Thank you so much, President Krasnov. We really appreciate your help. My life is now complete, knowing that English is the official language of the United States. And for those who didn't know, we've never had an official language. That was kind of the beauty of this whole thing. But they've taken this racism shit and fascism to the next level. So... But we were being run by idiots. And just to prove it, like, here's an overlay Mike made. Trump doesn't know what a tariff is or how tariffs work. Okay? And a stunning, this is from Really American, a stunning moment. Trump refuses to accept that tariffs are paid by consumers, insisting instead that it's a myth. Sorry, that's put out there by foreign countries that don't like paying tariffs. That's what Donald Trump...
And the sad part is, the sad part is that's all he has to say to his followers, and they'll believe it. They'll roll with it. You know, that's what's so hard combating this day in and day out and bringing the truth and bringing the evidence. You know, we heard Elon say, "I'm bringing the receipts, but I'm posting it on Doge." And it's like,
let's talk about the Doge's website was hacked. We went over that, and then apparently all the receipts he's been posting. A lot of them are paid out contracts, like completely paid out. He's like, we canceled this contract. We already paid all that money out, dipshit. You didn't save us any money. And then there was one contract that was for $8 million, and he put it on the website for $8 billion. Again, smartest man on the planet. He's a genius. You know what I mean? And people tore it apart. They counted contracts multiple times. It's a shit show. This is a shit show. But to MAGA, they're all over social media like, oh, my God, Elon Musk is saving us. They say us. They're saving us all this money. Like, they're going to give you anything. Are you out of your minds? Yeah. Stop. How did the brainwashing get this extreme?
And it happens so fast, too. It was one of those things that just really escalated and it got worse. But the thing is, I mean, I've always said on my channel that the one thing about these people, they're the most easily manipulated and led people. And so that's who they appeal to. He said he loved the poorly educated. And there's a whole lot of people out there that had no clue how government works, had no clue about American history or anything like that. And so they just rolled with it because they feel empowered by it, man. I really believe that they fight these culture wars because they feel empowered by all of this.
You're right.
It makes them feel like they're in some sort of battle. And I always say that, especially around where I'm at, I'm like, there's none of these things you're fearing are actually that you're really worried about. None of those things are actually coming to your part of the world. It's never going to happen. There's not going to be a BLM protest in Sleepy Little East Tennessee. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have transgenders bust into your home and start dancing on top of your table. It's just it's so ridiculous. But the things that are affecting people in my part of the world are the things Elon is cutting right out from under them. He's cutting their throats and they're cheering as he does it.
I'm about to lose my health insurance.
Yeah.
Because I'm a poor person. Like people, I don't like talking about it, but I'm a poor person. So government assistance has been part of my life. It's sad to say it, but I was a single dad. My kids are grown now, but I'm a single dad, and raising 2 kids, and I mean, it is fucking difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
And the only family I have in my area is my mom. So like, we needed the help just to eat. And I don't think Elon Musk was laughing about canceling. We canceled Ebola virus or prevention by accident. That's how they think. They think it's a game.
Yeah,
they
it
see
is
us
to
as
them.
dollar signs. We're like their indentured servants. That's why the protests and the boycotts have to happen now. We have to cut these people off at the knees. All they care about is the money. We do have power as people, but we can only do it as a united front.
Yeah, and I believe too that we have to keep protesting. I've seen some trolls in the comments saying protests don't do anything, they don't accomplish anything. I've said this about it. I'm the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now, and I continue to protest and continue to do the kind of content that I do, if for no other reason, is to let everyone know where I stood at this moment in history.
Right.
That's how I see it. It's like exactly. You're going to know at least, because I've always thought back, man, when I was studying 1930s Germany, I used to say to myself, there had to be people speaking against it. I'm sure there were. Mm-hmm. They didn't have cell phones in their pockets. They didn't have the platforms that we have. They weren't able to get out there and voice their opinions, so we didn't get to hear it. But people like me and you and a lot of people, no one really has an excuse these days. Every one of us can let our voices be heard. And if nothing else, we do it to let people know that we didn't, for future generations to go, well, there was 2 guys that didn't fall for it.
Right.
That's how I see it.
One mind, and then that person can change one mind.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. It's a chain effect. Some people we're never going to reach.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I said, the people that, and I want to address that, like the protests do matter, especially in the day and age of live streaming.
Yeah.
Because Mike and I went to the protests in New York City, and even though the turnout wasn't what I expected, there was still a few hundred people there. Don't get me wrong. I just figured with it being New York City, it'd be a little bit bigger. But people are scared right now, man. Donald Trump is literally talking about using the military on us.
And calls us the enemy from within. So I understand a lot of people and every time I go to a protest, I get texts from friends going, "Be careful, look over your shoulder." And it's sad that we're in that position.
Don't get me wrong, I'm geared up, ready to go. Like I'm ready for anything to pop off. Don't get me wrong. I expect something to, and if nothing happens, then it's like, all right, cool. But at the same time, they are peaceful protests. It's all about love. And we did get one troll. We had one guy pull up with a megaphone dressed as Donald Trump, trying to be funny. And I had to put hands on him. Because he was trying to make his way to the stage, and he got past everybody. And for a few minutes, we're like, what the fuck? Like, what's happening? We thought maybe, because a lot of comedians were speaking, we thought maybe it was part of a bit or something at first. But no, it was some asshole decided to crash our protest wearing a Trump thing. And I had to push him out of the way, and then the cops were nice enough to escort him out for us, because we were minding our business. You know what I mean? We were just doing our thing.
There is a comedian out there that goes around. I don't know where he's from. I saw the clips of this one comedian. He does a Trump impression. I mean, the impression's pretty good. I'll say that, but he's definitely like trolling people with it. He went up. There was a video of him. I don't know if you saw it or not, but he's trolling Alec Baldwin. And he's like, he walks up to Alec Baldwin. He's like, "I will pardon you, Alec. I will pardon you for murdering that woman." It's just absolute crap,
Yeah.
There is some people do an impression, just doing an impression. Then other people uses it to go out and troll and be an asshole.
And like, we're done. Like, I don't think the right realized that they just kind of awoken a sleeping giant, because we were pissed before, but now we're ready to do something. Like, now I'm not talking about violence. Okay. I never, ever promote violence. You know what I mean? I don't think it solves anything. But unfortunately, it is part of our, our culture, I guess. But we're trying, peaceful protesting is the way to go. But we have to be out there. We have to be visible. And we have to cut these people off at the knees. Like, there was supposed to be an economic boycott on the 28th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if anybody or how many people participated in it, because I think the biggest problem we have right now is organizing.
Yeah.
is organizing big events and getting people out there. But I think as long as they see us out there, they'll be less afraid. And even if they just watch it from home, now they have the ability to watch a protest from home. They don't have to, if they feel in danger, come out and be present. They can, do it from the comfort of their own home.
Yeah.
But I would love to go to more. I'd love to try. Honestly, since I've been to the last 2 that I went to, I kind of just want to do that.
Me too.
Broadcast protests all over the country. You know what I mean? Just to show that we are fighting back. So, we got way off topic here. So let's get back into the subject matter. We got about 20 minutes left. So real quick, I want to talk about RFK Jr. because we are in trouble with this guy in charge of Department of Health and Human Services. There's a measles outbreak in Texas that started with 20 cases and is now ballooned. I haven't checked in the last couple of days. Last time I checked, it was over 150 confirmed cases in just Texas. And they asked RFK Jr. about it. I have the video right here. And he's like, it's no big deal. That's normal. And I'll explain exactly why it's not normal here in a second.
We are following the measles epidemic every day. I think there's 124 people who have contracted measles at this point in Kings County, Texas. Mainly, we're told in the Mennonite community, there are 2 people who have died, but we're watching it, and there are about 20 people hospitalized, mainly for quarantine. We're watching it. We put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
You sound a little under the weather.
I like that. You sound a little under the weather, too. I don't know if that was a jab at him or not. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this measles outbreak is not normal. Because we actually eradicated the measles with the vaccine, believe it or not. I have a chart Mike was nice enough to make for us. There's the brain worm controlling him. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year. Do we now? On the left, in 1963, there was about almost 500,000 cases. Then we had the vaccines. At the second dose, it went down, just about 1050 or 20,000. And then in 2000, it was completely eradicated, meaning we had 0 cases of measles in the 12-month period of time. And they want you to think that a measles outbreak in 2025 is normal. No, this is happening because of anti-vax people like RFK Jr., who is now in charge.
Yeah. He was one of the most, to me, he was like one of the most disturbing cabinet picks of all, because it depends. It's about our health. And to me, our health, I've said this before, our health should never be political. It's not about Democrats versus Republicans. We're all Americans. We all want to be healthy. And I mean, the whole cabinet is a cabinet of clowns and chaos, but that one in particular really, really got to me because of his rhetoric. And he's always just quoting, things that he read on the internet, like any other drunk uncle, and it's like, it's just, but this is our health, man. It's our lives. And there's going to be serious consequences from this. And I don't know how far he'll get with all this. It's pretty disturbing.
I think in a month or 2, when people lose their food stamps and they don't have the money to buy their own medication that was covered by the government, I think shit is going to really hit the fan. And I don't even want to know, I don't even want to think about what it looks like. But just to prove that RFK Jr. is a complete idiot, this is what he posted on Twitter. Boy. Just past Zelensky in the hall. Small guy. I could bench him with one hand. Maha.
Yeah.
We're so cooked, man.
It's so sickening the way that they've trolled Zelensky, a guy whose country is war torn, and the hell that man's been through. And I don't know, it's the way they went about trolling him that's one of the most just disheartening things that I've seen since
you know
this whole
what
thing
pisses
got
me
started.
off the most about it? JD Vance.
Me too.
Why aren't you thanking us? You haven't. I made a video about this on TikTok. You haven't thanked us enough. Why the fuck would Zelensky thank the Republicans for the last 2-3 years? You guys have been trying to defund Ukraine.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Democrats, they would have gotten money. They would have been broke 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Why would he? You haven't done anything for him. Why would he thank you?
Man,
You're
I really
literally
believe.
telling Russia they
Yeah.
can have parts of Ukraine and having deals behind his back, and you want him to come to the Oval Office and be like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you so much."
I really
outta
believe,
here.
man, honestly, when this whole thing is over and Trump's going out, I really believe that in the future, I'm going to go ahead and call it, that we will probably hate JD Vance more than we have any other politician. I just think he's one of the worst, and I could see him in the future. He's a young guy. I mean, he could be around a long, long time, and I have a feeling he may start moving. I've got my Mount Rushmore of most hated politicians. I believe he'll make his way onto it eventually.
Well, Mike and I's running theory is, and we'll see if this happens or not, is they're going to get Donald Trump out before his term is over, whether it's 25th Amendment or whatever. And of course, Donald Trump's health shit. So I mean, I don't even know what's keeping the guy alive at this point. It must be the stimulants. I don't know. But JD Vance was such a weird pick, and then when we connected the dots and found out that he's part of the Heritage Foundation, it made sense. The Heritage Foundation wants to be president. You know, they want the presidency, and JD Vance is their ticket into absolute power. Even though Donald Trump is doing all that, he's unpredictable. JD Vance will run the playbook perfectly, which is scary because people need to realize how bad you're seeing Project 2025 play out. And I need people to realize, and I think Mike and I forgot to cover this on the other day, was their transition plan. That's a 180-day plan. We're over a month into it already. Okay, you need to understand, 6 months. That's all we got. They are trying to dismantle everything in 6 months. That's why I'm pissed people aren't out in the fucking, excuse my language this episode, but this is why I'm mad that people aren't out in the streets, just furious. Because in 6 months, democracy could die permanently. Will it ever be revived? I mean, it's hard to say once they're in power. And you can't tell me that they've been going through all this just to hand it over in 4 years. Because their popularity sucks. Trump has the lowest approval rating of any president since polling began.
Yeah.
So I just don't see, people are like, oh, in 4 years we're going to vote. No, you're not. No, you're not. You might, but it's not free and fair elections.
There's a lot of people that feels that, man. I talk to people every day that worries. I mean, I've even had friends say to me, are we even going to get to the midterms really? But I don't know. It's one of those things I can't see Trump. I just can't see this being able to maintain this. It's too far out of hand at this point.
Right. It's too extreme. And I think even their closest supporters, like we said, I mean, Trump signs are disappearing from yards. I see it in my hometown because I live in a very Trump heavy white part of Pennsylvania. And the Trump signs are everywhere. And you see them, they're disappearing. He is losing support. They'll pretend, okay, when they talk about him on TV, they'll pretend he's the greatest thing on earth. But in reality, people don't like him.
Yeah.
People, not even his own supporters like him.
Yeah.
So, all right, last but not least, the part that pisses me off the most, and I'm going to try and watch my language on this because I know YouTube gets weird about these types of topics, is Andrew Tate, who was arrested in Romania for, again, rape, running a criminal organization, and human trafficking. Okay? Somehow, the Trump administration, people within the Trump administration, got the Romanian officials to allow him to leave as long as he returns before trial. Do you honestly think they're going to extradite him back to Romania, for the love of God? Now, Andrew Tate, a self-admitted rapist. I've heard him on audio admit that he likes it, okay? The audio's out there. I could probably dig through my files to find it. But I've heard audio of him, and it's because the 4 women have testified against him, where he talks to a woman and he talks about how he liked it when she would resist the things that he was doing. And I'm not going to get into the exact terms because it's disgusting. He's a self-admitted abuser of women. I have a couple clips I'll show you that are pretty disturbing. Now he's running around in the United States. Got a nice private jet, which I want to know if was taxpayer funded or not. I would like to know if our taxpayer money went to taking this rapist out of Romania and importing them into the United States. Like, is that what we're doing now? We're importing sex traffickers? I thought you guys were the ones that were against this kind of stuff, but no, we're bringing them over. And like I said, Andrew Tate is one of the worst human beings I have ever seen. Let me play this video. Caution, trigger warning. It's not nice, okay? It's mostly audio. The video is pretty fuzzy, but just to get my point across of what kind of piece of shit this guy is, here you go.
What are you mad about, woman? Bruises, why? Why? Beaten with what? With what?
You have.
A belt, because you're a jerk. Show me the bruises. 1, 2, 3.
So that part, but yeah, you know what I mean? It's just absolutely horrible.
So
The guy's
disgusting.
an absolute terrible human being.
Yeah,
Absolutely
and
terrible human being.
it's so disgusting to me that we hear, you know, that they'll accuse just anybody that speaks out against Trump. They'll accuse them of being pedophiles or being, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm sure you get called names on a daily basis, just like I do. And they turn around and embrace the absolute worst of people. It would be different if they were people who, I mean, that's the whole thing about this, man. It's like, you know, they're not peaceful people. Donald Trump said, I want to be remembered as a peacemaker. I'm like, dude, you passed that a long time ago. That's not going to happen. They just embrace the worst of people. And everything they accuse us of doing, everything they accuse the other side of doing, they're doing it.
Yep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they're the party of deviants. I mean, there's more people in Trump's administration accused of sexual assault than there are trans athletes in all of college sports.
That's a great point. It's sad, but it's a great
That's a fact. You can look it up.
Yeah.
It's pretty gross. All right, so the last video I have before we get out of here is now Alina Habba and Benny Johnson interviewing Andrew Tate. And just look at how Alina Habba is fawning over this guy. It is disgusting to me. How little can you possibly think of yourself? Like, women, ladies, please let me know. How is this guy possibly appealing? And he's part of this. And like, this guy sells a course online of like how to be an alpha male and how to get ahead in life. I'm not even kidding. And people buy this shit. And he's part of the reason we have this large incel movement amongst the white male community in the United States. People like him, even Joe Rogan. I mean, all those people are part of this, or at least responsible for this. So, but just watch this clip and watch how Alina Habba acts. It is disgusting.
Hey.
Hello, Alina.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan.
Well, nice
Big
to meet
fan.
you. I'm a fan. You're the one saving Trump. You're doing more important work than me.
America, not just Trump. And I agree with everything you just said. And I think that your anger is the same that President Trump has for our country. And the time is now for us to stop being wimps. I think that's exactly the right sentiment. And I also have to say that I sympathize with you because I think you go through a lot of the same show me the person, I'll find the crime that President Trump has gone through. And
oh my God.
She sympathizes with that. She sympathizes with it. You know, man, I have an own take on this one. I really believe, you know, that there are women out there that, for whatever reason, wants a toxic man in their life, it's been something that I've seen for years. I've seen friends go through some of the most abusive relationships ever, and it's always like I'm trying to fix the guy. And I really feel like that's why a lot of them is for. I feel like the ones that are for Trump, it's like they need that toxic person in their life that they feel like they're fixing or working on. To see her sitting there fawning over him and saying she sympathizes is one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in a while. Such a disgusting person.
I was going to show, but it's honestly, I think, too graphic, even more graphic than the last one, of him just waving a machete around while he just degrades this woman in front of him, multiple women in front of him. I mean, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
If you just look him up, just Google him. There's so many videos, and he'll openly admit to this stuff that he
Yeah, and
does.
what I'll never understand, man, is how in the world did, the Republican Party was always the party of morals and values and family values. How in the world how do they now run parallel with people like this right alongside them?
Yeah.
And they fit under the same umbrella. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
You know what? Trump supporters, you can no longer talk any words about freedom.
Yeah.
And you damn sure can't talk about we're the party of law and order.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
or
you
morals
just had
and
a guy
values or any of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
You just had a guy on house arrest for sex trafficking. The same thing as Epstein, only Epstein's girls were younger. Literally the same crime. Yeah, that party of family values my fucking ass. You know what I mean? Just get out of here with that. I don't want to hear it anymore. You guys lost that privilege. Now taking sides with Russia, and then you're importing sex traffickers. That's who you are. So just so you know, if you voted for Trump and you're still riding with Trump right now, we look at you like this. You're the worst humanity has to offer. You're the bottom of the intellectual barrel.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be that? Do you want to be remembered for that? Because some people, I think, can still change. Some people, like you said, I think had no idea what was going on in politics. And I always say the highlight reel, because I think it's the simplest way to explain it. They saw the highlight reel version of the politics, and they're like, oh, Trump was on Joe Rogan. That's pretty cool. I'm going to vote for him, and knowing nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else. You know,
and not ever reading past the headline of anything.
Right. Not looking anything up and just taking everything for face value. And I think that's a problem. And I think a lot of people have realized, oh my God, I made a mistake. But they're not going to come out and openly be like, I fucked up. I wish they would. I would actually respect you a little bit. I can't forgive you for voting for Trump, but I would at least respect you a little bit if you came out and like, look, I just didn't know. I'm sorry. Like ignorance is a human trait, okay? You can, though, evolve. You can learn. And like I said, hopefully this unites the rest of the country, because I like MAGA to realize they're the minority now.
I think they always have been, honestly. I think they always have been. I think it's just a lot of times being a loud minority is what takes countries over. It's happened before. And
I don't know. I hope we come out on the other end stronger.
Me too.
I hope we do. Again, we have to do this as a united front. That's why MAGA is so powerful. That's why they won. That's why they're so powerful. They are united in their stupidity and in their hate for other people.
Yep.
And it's mostly because they just hate themselves and they hate their own life. So they want to take it out on other people, make other people miserable.
That's a great point.
Some people are that. That's how some people are. Okay. But I think if we were able to unite the majority of the country, there's like, 262 million adults in the country, and a lot of people that are going to be adults soon. And how many of them, less than 80 million voted for Donald Trump?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people left over. But, we got to, I think breaking the cycle is going to be the hard part, because we have kids that are being raised up in this environment. That's all they know. Trump. Oh, fat, the left is bad. The left is evil. They're going around. Honestly, I swear they were, when I first started getting into all this, and they were screaming about transgenderism, I swear they made it sound like, in my head, they made it sound like somebody was literally running around the world just chopping penises off. Like, that's how crazy it started to sound. But we have, like I said, before the show, or at the beginning of the show, we have to bring in the people that didn't vote. We have to unite. We have to come together, and we have to hit the streets, man. If it requires taking a day or two off work, dude, sacrifice. We're going to suffer regardless. Listen to what I'm fucking saying right now. We are about to suffer no matter what we do. So do you want to suffer on your own terms, or are you going to suffer on the billionaires' terms? Make a decision, because honestly, you don't have a choice at this point. You have to make a decision.
Yeah, and one thing I say on my channel all the time is, if you go back to the inauguration, he had his billionaire buddies inside with him, and his followers was out there in the cold. And that's going to be what it's like for them for the next 4 years. They're going to be left out in the cold, and they will feel it eventually. And I always say this, before I used to think to myself, I've been guilty of saying this phrase, the kids will save us. The kids will grow up. They'll see through it. They'll save us.
We were wrong.
But We were wrong on that one, and I'll own it because I used to look back, man, at those images back in the 60s. I would look back at the images of the black people sitting at the counter with the people squirting the mustard and ketchup on their heads, and I would look back at the whole, the spraying of the water hoses and all that. And I used to wonder, I'd be like, where did the white people in those videos go? Well, they raised Trump supporters, or they became Trump supporters, and I really. So to me, like you said, there's kids right now growing up in homes. I mean, you got to think about, man, if he leaves in 2028, we've went through 12 years of the guy.
Oh my
God.
God.
Look at all the children that have been raised up in homes thinking this is normal. Their parents might not have knew nothing about politics. Their parents may not have knew anything, but they taught them that this is what politics is. So there's going to be a whole generation of people growing up. That's why we have to stay loud and we have to stay focused and we have to keep pushing forward, because there's going to be a whole lot of people growing up thinking that this is a normal way of doing things, and it's not.
Yeah. So we got a lot of work to do. I was really hoping things were going to get better. I was not, honestly, when we talked about this before, after the election, like, I didn't know if I could continue doing this, because I really wanted to start reporting on good things, not this shit show, but this is the reality that we've been given. Yeah. And we're going to deal with it accordingly. Like I said, I think they've awoken a sleeping giant, because not only are they targeting the left, or whatever they want to call it, they are also going to piss off a lot of their own people. Basically, anybody that makes less than like $300,000 a year, you're screwed. You are screwed. Government assistance, gone. Social Security, out the door. You know what I mean? So this is going to implode on an epic scale. And we're now siding with Russia. So don't be surprised. I made this prediction before, that don't be surprised if there's Russian boots on American soil in the next
Nothing would shock me at this point. Or
that we start sending aid and weapons to Russia. Or that Russia is now allowed to use for nuclear weapons. Like the options are all on the table, unfortunately. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But that's all we have for today, guys. Brando, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, man. Absolutely. Tell Mike I said hello.
Absolutely. Please like and subscribe if you liked what we had to say. Share this stuff with your friends. I know we kind of have a different and kind of weird take on things, but I think that's kind of why we do it. People want to hear it from, just raw. They don't want to hear it. Just the news is dead. The corporate news is so dead. So I think, I don't know. We got a lot of work to do. So please subscribe, share with your friends. Again, if you'd like to donate, we do have a GoFundMe link set up for Mike and I. We are trying to just get more equipment, get better funding to be able to promote our show properly, because we've done all this over the last year and a half with absolutely no budget whatsoever, and we've definitely outgrown our current setup. So the GoFundMe link is in the description of the video. Brando's information also, if you haven't subscribed to Tennessee Brando's show, I'm sure you have. If you're on this channel, probably a lot of you from his channel or on my channel right now, but go ahead and subscribe. His information is in the description as well. Have a good rest of your day. We'll be back on Tuesday to talk about the Zelensky-Trump meeting and whatever the hell else pops up in the next couple days. So enjoy the rest of your day, though. And like always, guys, we'll